We're rolling.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Alrighty, my friend, welcome to the channel. Today is July 5th, and we are going to discuss No One Said It'd Be Easy.
No one said it would be easy. Okay.
Let's do it. Seneca says, good people will do what they find honorable to do, even if it requires hard work. They'll do it even if it causes them injury. They'll do it even if it will bring danger. Again, they won't do what they find base, even if it brings wealth, pleasure, or power. Nothing will deter them from what is honorable, and nothing will lure them into what is base.
What is base? Is that the last?
Yeah, base.
Like a baseline type of thing? Or?
No, it's like the opposite in this context. It's the opposite of honorable.
Ah, okay.
So base, like, I don't know what Webster would say the definition of base is, but I'm thinking just something like more like earthy, like basic.
Basic, maybe.
Yeah, but like
That's
basic in like
base.
a way of like it's the
not,
older part of our brain that wants something selfish, or that wants something lusty, or that wants something. It's like those are the base things, and then we're trying to rise above our base instincts to behave more honorably.
AKA the thing that separates us from other animals, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Like not to, like we actually can cultivate our society in some way and do all that stuff. And we have this new, we have the old, the base, right? The old way of thinking as an animal, but then we have this new thing that is like, well, we can change the old. Yeah.
Good people will do what they find honorable to do. So honorable. Honorable is like the right thing.
Yeah, essentially not having you in the center of the universe, or in the center of mind, or in the center of the reason why we're doing it. But if it's the, if we are now a part of something, now there's honor in it in some way.
Yeah. So a good person will do what they find honorable to do, even if it's hard. And so that's the courage thing of like, I do the right thing even when it's hard.
Do the right thing even though it's hard, Yeah, because otherwise we're avoiding it, and there's no good results from avoiding the things that are in front of us. We got to deal with them. Yeah, cool.
Right, and then he juxtaposes it with wealth, pleasure, power. So like, he's like, you're gonna have to feel things. You're gonna have to increase your tolerance for feeling discomfort and feeling pain and all of the things that are related to that, like discouraged, all of the things.
Yeah. And they're there, therefore trying to avoid them is a bad strategy, right? Like, I know that's just not the best way of like, you can postpone something, or thinking that like, oh, I don't have to go do the hard thing, right? Like, I can, you have these excuses, and the hard thing is never going to go away. It'll still be there, and it's actually an opportunity to go like actually through that stuff, and like kind of experience the uncomfortable feelings and situations that thing creates. But still, it's like that's actually where we are cultivating all of this goodness, right? In those hard places. Yeah.
And I like to think about it as like a level of a video game. It's like when I do a hard thing and I learn and I go through the really hard thing, it feels like afterwards I've sort of graduated to the next level in the video game. And life is like fresh and new again because it's like this new environment and I'm a new person in this environment, and there are things that are now easy for me that used to be hard, and new things that are difficult that I need to go like freshly investigate. And so like only when I'm embracing the hard thing does life actually feel like it is moving forward to this new, like, oh cool, all of this stuff is new. And when I don't do that, that's when I feel like I'm stuck in cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, stuck in cycles that are, stuck in those cycles.
Like the same cycle, meaning like, you know, you and I have gotten stuck in certain fights, or I've gotten stuck in a certain way of being at work or with other people, or my relationship with something in my life just stays in this like same repetitive.
Right, like that reminds me of like if you're ending a conversation with anyone that you say we can't, you know, let's just drop this and not talk about it. that's a perfect example of avoidance of a hard thing.
Yeah.
Now I get it if two people are screaming at each other and
you want to take a break to come back
it
later.
escalated, right? So you want to go away, but you need to come back with that, and finish that and get it to a place where, again, using the not the anger and expression of that emotion, but more of being angry but expressing calmness, right? Like that's a hard thing to do, but I think that's how we actually can deal with the hard things.
In a sustainable way, yeah, for sure. Because I think being calm also means that I'm using my energy effectively. Because it's really tiring and exhausting to let myself get so angry or so worried or so this. And now I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I need time to like come back. And now I'm psyching myself out about it in the future because I have all these past experiences of me like letting my emotions get out of control, so I don't trust myself to handle situations.
So
now I have a perfect excuse for backing out, because it's like, well, what do I do? Do I just let myself go off the deep end and I ruin my day and I ruin someone else's day and I have to recover for like a week, and then I feel bad about myself and there's shame and there's all this kind of stuff that goes on there? Or do I just say, hey, we don't need to deal with this. We don't need to talk about this. And so, like sometimes it is like, we need to take a break right now. I need to take a break right now because I have triggered a pattern of behavior and reaction that I know where this is going. And there's no way for me to change direction midstream. I can stop it. I can just put a stop to it and say, hey, I'm cutting off the oxygen supply to this thing right now. I'm going to go for a walk on my own. I'm going to go take a shower, take a nap, do something else. But eventually I do need to come back to it. Because if I don't come back to it, that's where things stay in the cycle and in the pattern.
Then the next time you actually bring it up is again in this kind of a fighting type of a way, right? And then the reaction has to again be, I don't want to fight, so I'm going to walk away. But if it's not being brought back, then it's being avoided, and that will create that friction there or something, yeah. So and why are we avoiding it? Well, because it's hard. It's hard to talk about. It's hard. It's difficult to express ourselves the way we actually want to express ourselves exactly, and being understood exactly the way we are expressing ourselves. It's difficult, right?
We have to help the other people understand
to help,
us.
and
It's not this demand for like you have to understand me. It's like no, like it's my responsibility to help you understand me.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we also get caught in this like it's your job to meet me here. Like you need to come and walk all the way over to me, and I get to stay here and stand here. And it's like no, it's like always. I like what Gene said, Gene Gendlin, in like one of his 3 YouTube videos, where he was like, it's not 50% your fault and 50% my fault. It's 100% my fault and 100% your fault. Yeah. There is no splitting the blame here or someone's more at fault than someone else. I am all the way responsible, and so are you. We are both all the way responsible.
Yeah, because
for
this.
we are
because we have control over something there, and we maybe don't know it that we have a control. We say we are out of control, right? I don't have control over this. Okay. You're thinking that you don't have control, but you actually do, and that's why it's 100% of your fault and 100% of the other person's fault, because they both have the tools and mechanisms to trigger them and say, let's calm this down and let's continue to talk about this, right? So that's different than, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, calming things down is one awesome skill. Not getting to a place where things are not calm is also another skill, right? It's similar.
I think that comes later.
I think
it's later. A matter of it's just a matter of timing of when you're able to catch something.
Yeah.
And
you hopefully you're catching it earlier enough that someone even says one sentence and you're like, oh, this could turn into some sort of disagreement. So let me now, I'm here to listen to them of what is the problem that they're having. Like being more interested in them versus interested in now my opinion or so, you know what I mean? That's what a lot of those things.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately catching it means being aware of it at an earlier spot. Which seems like absurd. Like it seems like, okay, if I'm yelling, I should know that I'm upset and that I'm angry. But like that doesn't necessarily become a conscious like, oh, I'm angry, until sometimes it's been raising voices for a while, like maybe slamming a fist or something, like, and then it's like, oh, I'm like really angry right now. Like it seems like I would just know that based on my behavior, but that's not how that happens.
Not how it happens. Yeah,
so,
you might notice it after, like, oh, I was angry.
Right, and then sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know what happened. It just went out of control, and it wasn't until the next day that I looked back and I was like, man, I like really blew a gasket. Like, what happened? So it's like I can only hope tomorrow to be aware like a millisecond before I was aware today.
Right.
And then to make some different choice after the awareness happens of like make a conscious decision now of like, what am I actually going to do? Like I'm aware, so I'm outside of it controlling me because I had to get outside of it to be aware of it.
Wow, that's kind of cool. It just makes me think of like catching it sooner is funny, right? Like, and a good thing, right? Because like first, like, oh, I'm not aware of it, so I'm catching it by someone is telling me that I was angry, right? And I might even deny that. Then I catch it, let's say, oh, tomorrow, like you said, oh, I'm angry today. I don't know anything about it until tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm getting reminded of this. And now I'm wishing to notice that earlier. Oh, I noticed it maybe hour after I met. Oh yeah, that's right. There was a fight. We need to do something with this. We need to talk about it. So now you're catching it earlier. So, and I was kind of thinking like, well, to where are we trying to get to? And I'm like, well, to now. to this moment,
Right.
to always to essentially we're shortening it out until we are aware of it the entire time as we're here. And we're
Right.
like, as we're speaking, we are also listening and we are aware of all of that. We don't have to be reflecting on it tomorrow because we don't actually get to that, oh my God, I was in the fight tomorrow.
Right.
We might get some other thing might be there tomorrow about this. Maybe not fight. Maybe I was sad and I didn't realize it, or I was maybe celebrating and I didn't realize it. Like, wow, I want to bring all of those emotions into actually catching them as early as possible, which is now, which is right now, because we can't catch them. We can't catch them further out. There's
Than
no
this
further
moment.
out. Yeah.
Like you need further in the, yeah.
Right.
Because emotion it's like they describe it as energy in motion, and it has this sort of flavor to it, like a flavor that I like or a flavor that I don't like, generally speaking. And it's moving, it's energy in motion, it's like moving forward. So then my goal must be to be my attention aligned with that, and as it's moving through, so it's just like, oh, and now this is fluctuating up here, and now it's going down here, and now it's stabilizing, and now it's up here again. Like,
yeah, it's continuously shifting and one might say, trying to take us out of some sort of a balance to be with it, or someone might say like, no, we need to just stay in harmony with those changes, right? And now when we're in harmony with those changes are happening and we're facing them. Okay, we're going with it, right? It's hard, but we're doing it, right? And now another thing happened. Okay, we're going with that because that's what's happening, right? We have to face it. We don't have to necessarily do the thing that it's in front of us, but we might have to then fight it for a different reason to not to do that, right? And that's facing it. That's facing a hard thing. So one way or the other, we got to go with the flow, kind of a thing, right? and then that's more that going with that flow is bringing us to more of the current moment and being more with it now, versus like this future oriented thinking or past oriented thinking. It's more of the focusing on what's going on right now, not this second, but now-ish, right? Like the now can be, it's not a time period, right? It's like it's this moment, right? So in this moment there are many opinions and many thoughts in here. There's so I like, oh, all of that whole thing, how is that, right? Like I like looking at it like that.
yeah,
It helps me like be calm or something, like, oh, I belong into all of this thing right now. Like, it's great. Yeah, very calming.
You want to read Ryan?
Yeah, that would be great. This was great. I actually had like I have like this nice warm feeling inside from this. Yeah, fun.
Nice. If doing good was easy, everyone would do it. And if doing bad wasn't tempting or attractive, nobody would do it. The same goes for your duty. If anyone could do it, it would have been assigned to someone else. But instead it was assigned to you. Thankfully, you're not like everyone. You're not afraid of doing what is hard. You can resist superficially attractive rewards. Can't you?
Sometimes. Yeah, that's the goal, right? That's the goal. Do more of the things you not find good, but like the things that are good, and then less of the things that are that we already find bad, right? Like, I know that eating ice cream is not good. Let's say, right? Like, I know it. There's all this sugar that's no good for us. It's right, but we somehow have these temptations of like, oh, let's go, like yeah, and it's hard to say no to all of the temptations. I would say it like that, maybe. Because it almost feels
It
like
is.
life will then be boring or something.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is until you get a sense for what the ROI is on the other side of living the other way.
Yes.
Because once you get the taste for the ROI on the other side, it's like ice cream is not more important to me than like being able to move my body in interesting ways and like feel super energized and like alive while I'm doing it.
You're focusing on the things you want more. Because want is funny, right? Because like, well, I want ice cream, right? But like the goals of your life, like you don't have a goal of being the best ice cream eater or the best drinker or smoker or any of these.
It's more
habits,
like,
right?
what does my future self want? How does my future self want me to behave right now so that it will be better for them?
Yeah. Very good, Baba.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yay, my leg is asleep. All right, thanks for joining today. We'll see you tomorrow.